Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Good to have you with us. Welcome again to Sportsline Trivia. Bob Tatrn here. Mike Pavlik joins me tonight. And I don't know what the fans' temperature is regarding the Steelers or what else is going on in town, but another one on the chin.
The Penguins are good. Other than that, football's kind of,
Yeah.
Penn State won.
We sure took one on the chin, though, we were talking about how long do you leave in your star quarterback, even if he's handing off. Freak accidents have happened before.
Well, yeah, and I mean, he wasn't even just handing off yesterday. He was going back to throw and taking hits with the score of 55-31 at the end of the game. And I just wondered if that didn't have something to do with the effort that they didn't see on the series before on defense, basically trying to tell the rest of his team, we play the game all the way to the end.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a valuable, that's an expensive lesson to have learned if something would have happened to the guy.
Something else happened today in pro football. Richie Incognito with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, not any longer. It doesn't appear.
His suitcase was last seen boarding an airline leaving Miami. But texting and communications in any which form with rookie Jonathan Martin have gotten Richie out of football. And it's just a dumb, stupid thing to do.
Well, they were using the word bullying, which I didn't necessarily like because I just thought that wasn't the right word for it. I mean, there was a word for it, and extortion kind of maybe fit the bill, considering the guy. He's sending him threatening text and threatening to kill the guy if he doesn't pay him $15,000 so he can take his girlfriend to Las Vegas. Rookies paying for veterans' vacations and things like that. It's like the culture of the NFL. They need to do. They're so worried about somebody hitting somebody with their helmet. Maybe they ought to worry about the important stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at rules and regulations on how you can win a prize here on the program when you place your call after you've given us a little bit of your input. You can win a prize, but every other week. The Grand Salami and the Mystery Profile is only once a month, and you can attempt the Mystery Profile once in the calendar month. Also, multiple choice questions get you 15 seconds on the clock. The Grand Salami is at 20. The Mystery Profile, clue by clue, first-time callers or anyone who's not buzzed us in a year will get more than one prize with a correct answer. Speaking of answers, you can find them on my website, doubledribblebob.com. Interesting question, Mike. What NBA star has turned the ball over the most times in postseason play?
Wow.
Good question. By the way, my radio
I'm
program...
I'm going to guess this person would have had to have played a long time for this to happen.
Yes, and in the playoffs very often. 3.7 turnovers a game doesn't seem like much, but 190 playoff games and 696 turnovers.
Wow, somebody would
it's on the sheet, but it's a multiple choice, and I don't care. But don't look at it.
I'm not. I couldn't find it anyway. I'll cheat.
Anyway, folks, we're going to take a break here, and I guess we're going to start with the studio audience here tonight because the phones are empty.
724-236-0430. And if you're streaming with us on Monday night, please call. We have lots to talk about too. I mean, we'll dissect the Steelers. We have some Pirates news today. We haven't really gotten much into hockey. I think we're going to do that tonight with one of our studio audience members too. So we're in good shape. We're good to go.
Plus the fact we are in November, and if you have not, well, October. We're going by the calendar months to attempt
so
the player profile, the mystery
free to
profile.
go with everybody's
But
live tonight.
is that a delicious mystery profile?
It is. You killed me with that yesterday.
But it can be had.
It can be had. But you know what happens now? Halloween goes, and you blink, snap your finger. Thanksgiving's here, and it's
Anyway,
things start to move here. The bowling ball's rolling.
All right, let's take a break, folks. We're coming back, and let's start with Ken Wood tonight.
We could do that.
All right, Ken, you're in the on-deck circle.
We'll
While the break is on, step in, kick the dirt off your cleats, and you'll be up number 1 when we come back. Stay aboard. We'll be back in a moment. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a 4th generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from 2 locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square. You've got 40 years of experience at the same location with Tower Auto Sales. And if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, no matter what it is, give them a try. Call Mike Fanto in advance if you want. You don't have to, but it might be a good idea to call Mike at 412-828-6202, and they'll get you what you're looking for. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Freeport Road in Blawnox. Okay, Mike?
Yeah, we're ready.
You ready to roll?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's do this. I was getting some Penguin stuff up here, so I would be prepared.
Let's talk to Ken in the audience tonight. Ken, thanks for coming up, making the trip to beautiful downtown Leechburg.
Ken's been hunting. Tell the folks before.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna start with some outdoors news.
Outdoor news.
Now, you go ahead and give the tip to everybody out there that's a hunter. Because
is the bucks are moving nonstop. I was out Friday all day. Saw about 10 different bucks chasing does. First thing Saturday morning was able to shoot an 8-point. They're moving. If you're an archery hunter, get out in the woods. They're moving right now.
There you go. See that? Yes, sir. We brought pictures and everything. And
I have gone on a fishing excursion now and then, riverbank, stuff like that.
Right.
But I have never done what he's talking. I can't hunt. I obviously, you need a weapon, which I don't have. But anyway, hey, congrats on the 8 points.
Thank you.
Good job.
Penguins.
Yes.
They're looking good this season. What I've been really impressed with is, everybody sees their top lines, the Melkin line, the Crosby line. It's the lower lines, and it's really impressive to me is they're contributing. Glass, he's already had 2 goals this year. That was all he had for all last year.
48 games, yeah.
He's leading the league in hits. The young guys, the Jason Magna, in 5 games, he has 2 goals and an assist. And then you look at who's out of the lineup. Bo Bennett's out, Neal's out. So they're scoring. Adams, he already has 3 goals this year.
Yeah.
So England, he's a better winger than he is a defenseman. In 9 games, and I don't even know how many he started as a wing, but he has 2 goals. So their production from the lower lines is incredible. So I'm wondering what they're going to do when the guys get healthy and come back in. How do you mix the lines? And Dan's been doing an excellent job of matching and moving them guys all through the lineup.
Well, we always say these things usually take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that you'll have, somebody else will get hurt to make the replacement. Now, you talk about guys coming back. Bo Bennett practiced with the team today, and they said that he's not going to play on Wednesday night against the Rangers, but they expect that he'll be ready to go on Saturday night in St. Louis. So there's the first piece coming back. And for the first time, James Neal worked out before practice today.
I like that guy.
So do I. They need to get him back in the lineup, whatever the issue is, because they won't tell you what the injuries are. But he practiced today, didn't practice, but worked out on the ice with his conditioning coach, which is the first step. That usually goes for about a week, and then they put them back into practice. So he may be a couple of weeks away. So then he would be, he'd be ready to come back. Now, they've been to the point now where some of the guys that are up, like Matt D'Agostini, who's played like 2 games, and Dustin Jeffrey, they've kind of been switching back and forth. And you're going to start to see these guys move back. And I don't know, there's a lot of spots down there on the bottom. And like you said, Craig Adams will play every game. That's one that Bilesman has shown that guy will never sit. But depending upon what you might need that night, like you have a game against the Flyers, England's probably going to dress on that 4th line. You play maybe a skating team, and maybe Chuck Kobasu gets a chance to play. He's been hurt too here recently. Yeah. But there are guys like Kobasu, D'Agostini, Jeffrey that could eventually end up back in the minors or cut loose, because I don't know that they're to the level. Bennett's going to play. Bilesman already said he's on the 3rd line when he comes back, more than likely, because they want to make that more of a skating line with Brandon Sutter, who's finally scored a couple here the last couple games. Had that big goal against the Bruins the other night.
So when the Penguins got into that little bit of a losing streak, that didn't bother you at all?
No, I think.
What did we lose, 2 or 3?
3.
They lost 3. But 2 of those games they played solid. The one they couldn't beg, borrow, or steal a goal. It wasn't there. They put a ton. It was almost like 30 shots on goal that night, and they got shut out. So. And then
I guess the worst game they played in that was the one we didn't see, because we had a football game that night. That was the game. That was the game out at Knock the week ago Friday and against the Islanders. And Zakhoff was playing in goal, and I was thinking, well, it's obviously his fault. But then when I watched it back, it wasn't. They let
in the last few minutes of the game.
They let him hang out to dry there, and then he played a terrific game on Saturday night, because they obviously, knowing what they had done wrong the last time he played, they really tightened things up in front of him and played a really solid game against Columbus. And not only did he win his first game, but he pitched a shutout before them. So they're going to need him here soon, because the schedule's really going to get busy at the end of the month. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of games in there, and they're going to need him to. They're going to need him to take some of the load.
Yeah, Fleury's looked fantastic, but you'll burn him out.
He's been good, and they got to be careful. I heard somebody say, well, you know what? He's going to get 2 weeks off in February for the Olympics, because he's not going to be going to those. So.
I've got a great bonus question for you, Ken, by the way, when you go to your trivia selection. No matter what it is, I'm going to throw another one in, either for a second chance or we'll figure something out. But it's a hockey question that I accidentally bumped into in doing some research on some NHL folks, and we're going to head for that. So do you want to go for your trivia right now?
Yeah, let's go for a
choice or
multiple choice.
You're going to go with multiple choice.
I like multiple choice.
Michael, you want to shoot number 1 there?
Here we go. Starting at the top tonight. This is a baseball question. Who is the only pitcher to appear in all 7 games of a World Series?
Raleigh Fingers.
These are all relievers. Allow me to read them, please. Mike Stanton.
Mike gets paid now, so let him read the doggone things.
I wanted to prove to my mom, who I'm sure is watching on a Thursday night on Channel 190, I want to prove to her that all that work she did when I was a little kid paid off, and I can indeed read these. Mike Stanton, Raleigh Fingers, because back in those days, your parents taught you how to do this stuff before you went to school. Raleigh Fingers, Darrell Knowles, Paul Ossenmacher. I'll do them one more time. Mike Stanton, Raleigh Fingers, Darrell Knowles, or Paul Ossenmacher. The only man to pitch in all 7 games of World Series. Those are all relievers.
I'll try Raleigh Fingers.
That is not correct. That is truly a right church, wrong pew answer, because Raleigh Fingers appeared in that World Series that happened, but it was Darrell Knowles of the Oakland A's, and it would have been in the 72, 3-4 span there when the A's made it 3 years in a row, and he was a lefty, and he got to pitch in all 7 games. Fingers got all the glory. I think he got all the saves in those games, but that's how that goes.
There's a Charlie Finley story that comes out of this thing. Charlie Finley, in going to spring training the year after they win one of the consecutive World Series, I'm trying to think of the Vida Blue, had one heck of a year. So this was the early days of the free agency.
Oh, yes.
Because it just happened with Curt Flood refusing to go to the Phillies. But anyway, I forget who this guy was, but he advised Vida Blue with the name of an attorney that he had, and he gave him this little sheet of paper. Well, the team had taken this 3 or 4 hour bus trip to go south to play in this exhibition game. Finley found out about it. He waits until they get all the way down there, and he tells the guy that gave Vida Blue the name of the attorney that he's been cut.
Oh, jeez.
And by the way, since you've been cut, you cannot take the bus home. Find your own way. They love Charlie Finley.
When the free agency was just coming in and he was afraid he was going to lose all of those stars off those great teams, figured that he would begin to trade them away because he wasn't going to pay them.
And Bowie Kuhn.
So he took one at a time. All these stars, Reggie Jackson, Vida Blue, Joe Rudy,
who's the pitcher?
Sal Bando, Vida Blue, all these guys, and Catfish Hunter, and made his deals with and traded them basically for nothing, just so he could get rid of the contracts and he wasn't going to have to pay them. And each separate time, there were even some press conferences where I believe it might have been Joe Rudy with the Red Sox, and he sat at the table and they held the jersey up, and Bowie Kuhn came down the next day and said, "Void under the best interest of baseball clause. This isn't happening. You go back." And he basically made them all stay there, and I think they may have won one more division, maybe not another World Series, but I think it's 75. I think they won the division one more time. But they were such a fractured, as Coach Tomlin would say, they were a fractured unit. They were such a fractured unit that they couldn't get anywhere with it, and they lost in the playoffs to the Red Sox, and then that was the end of them.
In the meantime, the Oakland A's had a local boy on that team. Not that he grew up here, but he did make it through years 0 to 5. Gene Tennis.
Oh.
Gene Tennis.
He's a West Deer
2
boy.
home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and only 2 people have done that. Tennis is one of them.
Andrew Jones did it.
Andrew Jones.
With the Braves.
Andrew Jones.
Against the Yankees in '96.
I wonder if that's on my list.
It's not. I remember that. I didn't like that.
Anyway. All right, Ken, I promised you a bonus. You haven't been
quick.
here for so long. And here you go. The first goaltender to play every minute of every game in a single season and did it without a mask.
Oh, you're going way back now.
60s.
Yeah. I don't have an answer for that.
He has a Penguin tie-in for a dozen of donuts. A Penguin tie-in. Paul, whisper him the answer. I want to get the guy some donuts at least.
Okay, this is a guess. I'm not sure.
Go ahead.
Eddie Johnston?
You got it.
Eddie
Johnston.
He was the last one to do it, and he was something else. He was a pretty good player. He's a big guy if you've ever met him.
Yeah, was he 6'4"?
He's a big guy. Guess where I saw Eddie Johnston once? I saw him at the Meadows on Kentucky Derby Day. We were doing the same thing. This is a rarity for me. We were cashing a winning ticket.
Oh,
yeah.
Must have been a rarity.
Yeah, both at the Derby, Eddie Johnston and myself. It was great. It was a good day.
All right. Everybody's big compared to you, Mike.
Well, that's true, Ken. There's no doubt about that.
All right, Ken, dozen of donuts coming out to you. Thanks for showing up here at the studio.
Thank you very much.
Enjoying your company here tonight for sure. Paul's going to be in the on-deck circle here. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be shooting right back at you, folks. Our phone number in the meantime, 724-236-0960. 0430.
I would like to channel the guy that sat next to you for many, 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 many years right now. I'm going to channel Joe. And I'm going to channel what he would say right now. I can't believe that with what happened with that Steeler game last night, that those lines aren't lit up like a Christmas tree. There.
And you're right.
And that's what he would have said.
Break time, we're coming right back.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tatrn's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
Opportunity and you want to call for some pizza, give Mattio's Pizza a try. They're located on Broadview Boulevard up in Brackenridge Heights. And the phone number to place that call, 724-904-7312. I was up there last Friday. Hand-tossed pizzas, Hitos sandwiches, I'll do it the Greek way. Hitos, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and their signature sandwich, the Iron Man hoagie, and I think Paul would best fit for that. Don't you think, Mike? He would give that thing a real
I
challenge.
have heard, as a matter of fact, when Jim was here last week, he was talking about that the Iron Man is the thing, man.
Okay.
That has got to be done. I into many pieces, and maybe I could have it for the week. Because I'm afraid I would eat more than I should.
Let me ask Paul here as we start out, talking about Eddie Johnson. Now, you remember the last goaltender to not wear a mask?
Yeah, I've always heard it was EJ.
No, Andy Brown. Was it Andy?
Andy Brown.
Andy Brown. In April of '74, when they closed out the 73-74 season, the league had mandated the following year you had to wear a mask. There were no, whether it was insurance or whatever. Right. I can't imagine anyone playing the game without a mask. Or, right. You know what I'm saying.
That's back when the games were on Channel 11 with Sam Nover. I'm not kidding. Sam Nover and Terry Schiffauer, and Andy Brown was the Penguin goalie.
Terry Schiffauer. He started out as the
was he a goaltender?
PR man.
PR guy. What's that?
Terry Schiffauer. He was a goaltender?
No, he was the announcer.
He was the,
He was just a PR guy that went into baseball when Steigerwald was done. Yeah.
Pierre LaRouche.
Probably just a little bit before. Andy Brown in '74, then Pierre LaRouche came in the next year. I'm not sure if they ever crossed. I'm not sure if Brown played here after they changed the rule.
Yeah. Now, how old were you when Michel Briere
I was probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I remember vaguely that playoff when they played California, the Golden Seals with the white skates, by the way. That was, guess who won them? Charlie Finley. It's Charlie Finley night. But, and they won that series and were in the, beat the Seals in that series and then moved on and lost to St. Louis, and St. Louis went to the finals then. That's the only year the Pens got to the semifinals in the first 20X years of their existence. But he died tragically. He had a car crash and I think hung on for almost a year after that.
And do you know the Penguins paid every single penny of his hospitalization?
That's amazing. And his number along with Mario Lemieux, are still the only 2 retired numbers in team history. That's the only 2 numbers they've retired. And Michel Brier's 21 and Lemieux 66. That's it.
Yeah. Paul, let me ask,
Yes.
You know what? I had it on my mind. I'm having one of those senior moments.
It's
I had a
Monday.
question for you
That's not
regarding
a good enough excuse.
Pittsburgh Penguin hockey, and here we go.
Not a good
But
enough
go ahead. The floor is yours, my man.
Anyway, Highlands impressed me on Friday. They took on Newcastle, and it was a little iffy, but they were able to hold on to win. So I think they might give Thomas Jefferson a good fight on Friday, but we'll see what happens.
I know not to doubt them anymore. Thomas Jefferson they're undefeated, they're 10-0, and their closest game they won by 21 points. So
Right.
3 touchdowns, and that was the first game against Ringgold, which was all the way back in August still. That's a long time ago. And they're just an unbelievable powerhouse this year. How about this? They rotate their quarterbacks, I found out today. They rotate their quarterbacks by series. They have 2 senior quarterbacks, and rather than upset anyone's parents or whatever, their team, they don't throw hardly at all. Their team is so good that he could just rotate them series. And that's what happens. Okay, it's your series, and the 2 guys just switch off, and it just runs as a machine. They're terrific, and it's going to be a tough one for Highlands all the way down there at Char Valley. But that was a great game Friday, Paul. You're right. I thought Sam Albert did a great job, not only of getting them ready, but the in-game coaching that night was just outstanding. The way they worked the clock, the different formations that they used offensively, and especially at the end, when they had a 4th and 1 at the 49-yard line of Newcastle with about 35 seconds to go, and instead of kicking and punting the ball away,
Right.
and chancing a block or a bad snap or something like that, they decided to go for it to try to end the game, which is exactly what happened. And big crowd, loud crowd too, wasn't
Yes.
it? That place was nuts. That's one of the loudest I've ever heard that place.
Yeah. You know, some of the smaller schools, and the problem, I'm just not talking single A football, but even some of the double A, maybe even triple A, but more double A than anything, is that when you don't have the depth, and you've got to have your better athletes play both ways, it certainly has a big effect on the game, and I just wondered how you guys, looked at this as well.
I agree 100%. I think roster sizes are shrinking. The fewer kids are playing.
Ford City dressed 18 kids when they played Valley.
And this is double A. This is not single A
Right.
ball.
Right. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
think about that a minute.
Right.
Now, I see roster sizes are about, we may have lost about 10 off since I first, say, 20 years ago.
Right.
But also in a sneakier move, all the freshmen are being added on. A lot of schools don't have freshman teams anymore. So all the 9th graders end up on the varsity roster. So it says there's 55 kids,
Yeah.
but there may be 20 9th graders on there that maybe 2 or 3 of them ever see the light of day in a varsity game. So that cuts back the amount right there. I know Highlands has done this for years, and I think a lot of schools have gone to it. They don't hit during the week anymore. The practices are basically walkthroughs. That they do not have live blocking and tackling in practice because
Unless they hit the dummies.
and in camp, and you're basically done with that by the time Dust Bowl ends and you're into the season because you can't afford to get anybody hurt.
Yeah.
You can't get through a season when you have schools like now Highlands is on the lower end of AAA as far as enrollment goes. As a matter of fact, Solo they may even drop back down to double next year. I don't know because the numbers aren't out yet. Numbers are in, but they're not out. But you have schools like Franklin Regional that's barely missing out on being Quad A, or Pine Richland used to be in AAA, and teams like that legitimately throw a roster at you of 60, 70 guys. You're not able to compete numbers-wise because the disparity is just too wide. So, there are just different ways that they're trying to go about this now, but it's difficult, and the fewer guys you have playing both ways, the better off you are because you can really rest those guys up. Not necessarily for that night, but for the entire. Look, they started practicing in the middle of August, and here we are going to be the middle of November, and we have the teams are still in the playoffs. And how about the teams that go to the state playoffs? They play all the way almost till Christmas.
And then try to make the basketball roster.
Which they've taken a week out of the basketball season to add on to football playoffs because it makes some money.
Paul, you're going to go to the Apollo Ridge game on Friday night.
Yes, at Deer Lakes against Stowe Rocks.
That's a nice place to go, but isn't that a beautiful stadium?
I haven't been there since 09 when Springdale played North Catholic. and you enter the seat, go to your seat from the top.
Yeah, and go down.
Right.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
nice. It really is.
Oh, what they did for the broadcast team,
Oh,
that we,
the press
oh
box is
my
wonderful.
gosh.
And you know what? I don't know if you've done a basketball game up there recently, but they fixed the gym up. It's beautiful.
Well, this past late February, we did a doubleheader. I shouldn't say doubleheader, back-to-back nights.
Okay.
We had the boys' game one night, the girls' game the following night, back-to-back. And I love it.
It's nice up there.
Yeah.
It really is. They've done they brightened it up. It was kind of dark, and they brightened it up and made it more a fresh coat of paint. The ceiling tiles dropped it maybe a little bit, and brought the side where the pool is. Anybody that's ever been at Deer Lakes, they brought those stands in a little bit.
You can still smell the chlorine.
You
but
can still smell the chlorine. See, you can at Burl too. The Burl,
Right.
the chlorine, the smell of the chlorine just overrides you there. It's like Highlands, you can smell it, but only if you walk out into the hallway and there's a swim meet because they have the door open and it's right around the corner.
I'm just doing, Paul, go ahead. I do want to
Okay.
sneak in one quick story. In the playoffs, we did a game over at Plum, and we were way up in peanut heaven, and right below us, about maybe 20 feet down, the softball team,
It's practicing behind you.
all you could hear was ping, ping, I said, what a
What a
background
nice,
for a,
what an improvement that is from the old gym they had there.
Oh, my
that
gosh.
place is so nice at Plum. We'll be there in 4 weeks from this coming Friday. How about that?
And finally, I think the best game of the week will be in Falks Chapel Gateway and Pittsburgh Central Catholic. That I think would be.
That's a quad. Yeah, there it
Yeah.
is. And the winner of that game will play McKeesport Penn Trafford. But
Right.
yeah, Central Catholic is 10-0. Now Gateway doesn't have Terry Smith any longer. They've
Right.
moved on to a new coach there. They're 7-2 this year, and they basically have just lost to teams that are better than them. They played McKeesport and got routed pretty
Yeah.
bad. So.
So I think that's the best game of the week.
Well,
in
the
my-
big talk in Quad A was who was number one. Was it going to be Central or was it going to be Upper St. Clair? So they basically tossed a coin there. Upper St. Clair got the 1 seed and Central Catholic got the 2, and they're supposed to be on a collision course. Usually there's more upsets in Quad A than there is in any
Right,
other.
yeah.
There in any other classification. But
Okay.
they're, home teams rule a roost though. When you get a chance to have that home game in the first round, that's very important.
I'll tell you what I would like to see, the WPIAL, we're talking November, sloppy conditions or whatever, they're going to go for the teams, the schools rather, that have the artificial turf. But wouldn't it be great if the higher percentage teams had home field advantage until Heinz Field Day? I don't like the neutral site idea.
Well, let's take it one step.
Basketball is no excuse unless you have a lousy gym.
Well, that's what I said. Let's take it one step further. That first night of basketball playoffs should be home sites. I don't understand why it's not, because it would make it so much easier to schedule. You think if you knocked all of those games out of there, and if you have boys and girls that both made it, and you want to run a doubleheader rather than go 2 nights, why not?
Yeah.
The scheduling nightmare of that first round of the basketball
be
playoffs is
eliminated.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is. If you could do that until you get down to 8, to the round of 8 or something like that, it would just be. I don't know. I really don't. They've toyed with it. They've kicked it around. They've talked about it, but they've never actually gone to it, and I don't know why.
It's all about money.
All right, Paul, let's
There's
do
that.
trivia.
I'll take my favorite mystery profile.
Okay,
Well, this should be fun. This is all yours, Bob.
I love this one.
All right.
If at any time you feel faint, ask Ken. He'll give you a couple of buffer in there, okay? Okay, we're talking Major League Baseball,
Okay.
all right? And it is sponsored by the good people at Mattio's Pizza and Subs. Anytime you get the Hungries, 724-904-7312. All right, for $100 worth of prize coupons from local merchants. As a Major League Baseball player, I had a habit of passing bad checks to pay for my kind of a lifestyle in the fast lane. Well, he's a Hall of Famer. So,
Just to guess, Pete Rose.
nope.
Nope,
Okay,
all right.
let's drop down. He played with Babe Ruth, and Babe Ruth nicknamed him the All-American Out. He was a good fielder, no bat. In other words, this is what Ruth was referring to. Good fielder, lousy bat, and he called him the All-American Out.
Just to guess, Yogi Berra.
No. Let's go down to $50 worth. This is where you might get it. I was the first Major League Baseball manager to win 500 games for 3 different teams.
Don Zimmer?
No.
No.
Let's go down to 25. As a Major League Baseball manager, I was ejected 95 times in my career, which is not the record, by the way, isn't it, Bobby Cox?
Bobby Cox has indeed taken over that record.
It's
Yes.
something like 112.
He was a teammate of Babe Ruth, right?
Yes.
Joe DiMaggio. I have no idea.
Okay. Let's go to the Tinker Toy. We'll get you some kind of a prize. I was known as Leo the Lip. And if you don't have it here,
I have no idea.
Leo DeRocher.
Oh.
I was watching the Turner Classic Movie Channel the other day, and there's Lorraine Day, one of his wives,
One of his wives, but only one at a time.
starring in the movie, and it got me to thinking, let me go look some stuff up on Leo DeRocher. But
Amazing.
anyway.
Leo the Lip. Did you know that Leo DeRocher did a guest shot in The Munsters? Leo DeRocher did a great guest starring appearance in The Munsters.
They had Herman Munster
Herman
the ball
was
must have
trying
gone
out.
1,000 feet.
He hit him and he was in the telephone booth.
Exactly. Leo couldn't stand it. He finally had to give up. He couldn't do it because Herman when he started stomping his foot, that pretty much gave it up right there.
Well, if you go on YouTube and just
Everything's available on YouTube, by the way.
anymore.
Yeah, it's all there.
Anymore. All right, I
thank
know the wheel for a break. Thank you, Paul. And folks, our phone number, 724-236-0430. Next week, I plan on taking the night off.
Okay. I'll be here.
You'll be here, and one of the 2 hot dog guys
Okay.
will be here. So,
And they're
gentlemen,
open.
you're
They're open again.
starting Election Day.
This
They're
week,
back in
right?
Lower Borough.
That
One of
they're-
the first things my wife said was, yippee-ki-yay.
We're going to lunch. Absolutely.
Anyway, all right, let's take a break. Mike and I are coming back in a moment. Stay with us.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Got a suggestion for you. That's to head over to Tower Auto Sales on Freeport Road in Blawnox and just briskly or slowly walk through their 3 indoor showrooms. I'll tell you what, you get a look at all the great cars that they've got. You want to own them all. That's the way I feel anyway. I wish I could. It's a full-service facility with an experienced staff, and they feature all makes and models. The Lexus products, of course, they can get for you. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. That's their slogan. And give Mike Fando a call at 412-828-6202. Just for the heck of it. I mentioned something during the break. A shot clock for high school basketball.
Okay, let's start with the cost. Now, do we have any idea what we'd be talking about?
No, I don't. But
for
I
the
know.
Cost? I don't think it wouldn't be prohibitive, would it? And frankly, you could probably get.
You could go to the shop class and have him.
And frankly, the WPIAL could take some of the millions of dollars. Okay, they don't make millions. Could take some of the thousands of dollars they make from their football playoff and make sure that everybody has some sort of a, some sort of a stipend to be able to get the clocks for this. But it's an interesting thought, and there was a time that I said no, but I don't think I would be against it.
Now you got to have two of them posted.
Right.
Behind the banking boards
behind the baskets
of both. And as soon as, I don't know if it's when they cross the 10-second line or when they bring it inbounds.
It's when they bring it in. Now how high do you go?
No, you can make that change.
You can do it however you want.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I think you might have to go longer than that. You might have to go 40 in high school.
Which could be adjusted.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think they could probably look at video, and they could probably kind of get a determination and have coaches and.
But the reason I bring this up, Mike, not that it's. I always kid Don Favero when I see him. He coached the Deer Lakes girls back in the 80s to the state championship game. And there was one game that he had on his home court when he played undefeated North Catholic. And they went into a stall. And the girls literally stood with the ball under their arm. And North Catholic just, waited back until the official said, come out and make a play.
Right.
So it's not that it's boring basketball, but you got to call it what it is. So the point being, you just want to be able to get, I don't know, I wouldn't call it excitement, but to put a little more offense into the game so that teams literally don't freeze the ball. Now, in college or the pros, do they ever shut that off in the last 2 minutes? Am I wrong about that?
They only turn it off when it's less than whatever the shot clock is. I think it's 35 in college basketball. So when you get a possession of less than 35 seconds, then it's dark, and you just use the game clock and you wind it out for the rest of the half or quarter.
Well,
and the NBA is 24 and has been for a long time. And
it's the anniversary, by the way. I think they started. Oh, gosh, I wish I just had this on my radio show the last weekend. That it's the anniversary when they started the 24-second shot clock.
By the way, as far as cost goes,
I think back in the late 60s.
The
Go ahead.
machine's amazing. I'm finding some portable ones here for anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000.
For a pair?
For a pair.
Oh, that's reasonable.
So, I mean, I don't think.
Plus, Mike, if you can put some people to work on this.
Here's a good one, $4,390, and this is the one that gives you the game clock and the shot clock underneath it, the NBA style.
$4,390.
That's $4,390. I don't think the schools are going to go for that.
No.
Maybe some of your Quad A schools that have nice booster clubs will be able to pay for that.
Now, here's the other cost that I didn't consider.
Okay.
They have to pay somebody on the score
to hit the button.
The scorekeeper's table.
The Dom Corso position.
And say hello for
Dom
me.
retired.
Dom calls me.
Dom retired.
Bob, how you doing?
Oh, man, Dom retired. I hope we see him around. He better still
How
show
about
up.
that?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Dom retired from clicking. I'm very disappointed. I don't know who they're going to get to do that now.
Anyway,
Dom's
there's
a great
another
guy, AK Valley Hall of Famer, that guy.
Right. Plus,
Yes, sir.
again, and I know we have a phone call coming in, but now you got to come. I don't know what they pay these guys.
I have
40, 50
I have no
bucks
idea.
a
And that
game
comes from the school
for
district.
an hour and a half.
To sit there, they could do the JV game and then the regular game. But you
Well,
may have,
maybe the
like you
JV
said,
game
you
you
might
could
have to have
skip.
you might have to have another person there. But here's my question, and I don't know this: how do they do the play clock? The play clock in a football game is about the same thing. Somebody runs the scoreboard, and then somebody else, I believe, hits the play clock. So I think you need two people.
Okay.
So, be that as it may. But, so there it is with the cost. But I think that, and I wonder how many states have it, and I wonder if it's prevalent anywhere. And I'm going to make that a homework assignment.
Good.
And for when, maybe we won't get to it next week, but when you're back in 2 weeks, we'll take a look. Because I've been intrigued by it, and I just wonder what it would do to the game. I think it may make it, it would certainly make it more exciting on some of those. Now, I'll tell you one place you would never have to worry about the shot clock being in use, and that's a girls' game. Because the minute they get across half court, it's 2 passes and up it goes. So you almost don't need one on.
It didn't used to be like that.
No,
Mike.
you almost don't need one for a girls' game because they are gun slingers. Believe me.
All right. We're going to go to the phones, I think. Do we have a caller? And we have another one coming in.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Good evening, Tony.
How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm hanging in there, I guess.
What time zone are you on?
Huh?
What time zone are you on?
I'm out in the coast. I'm in L.A.
That's all. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it could lag a little bit.
Yeah.
So what?
Hey, in any sport that was ever invented and played, have you ever heard of a coaching staff and team getting fired at halftime?
I remember Paul Brown firing a punter at halftime.
The whole team. I mean, everybody. Coaches, players, janitors. I don't care what
Obviously
was there.
not. So
no. How about mid-third quarter, Tony?
Oh, please. That was unbelievable.
It was.
I mean, and the greatest thing in the world, us running, it's a joke, us running our hurry-up offense. A hurry-up offense is run so the defense don't have time to change players, or even take a breath.
Right.
You get up to, not us, we run it down to 1
second.
2, 3 seconds. That gives them time to change players, to see what we're doing, to have a ham sandwich.
You know what else?
To gossip with the player next to you. It's just ridiculous.
You know what else it gives them time to do? It gives them time to time when they're going to rush the quarterback.
Well, naturally.
Oh,
because
my
when
gosh.
the play clock gets to 1 second, you just go.
Say, okay, time to go.
Yeah.
Even my wife figured that one out.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that not just this year.
No.
They've been doing it for quite a while.
That's a Ben thing.
Oh, my God.
I think that's a Ben thing. I put that on.
There is no part of this team that you can consider a professional team.
They're not very good in any area.
Nothing.
Right?
Nothing. Unbelievable.
Now, and even the coaches have fallen into it. Some guys that were pretty good coaches at some point, and probably are still pretty good coaches. But it's, when it all falls apart, it all falls apart. I think the part that's most interesting is, I read some stuff this week where they said that, it really surprised them when they were 0-2, that there was abject panic going on in the offices when they lost the first 2 games, that from ownership on down, they didn't see this coming and they had no idea. Now, I'll admit that I didn't see it coming either, but I have a list full of people in my folder that did. For all you guys that made your predictions. Yeah.
In fact, I was going to say four wins, and like a stupid, I said 5, but
right. I said
don't think you're going to get 5.
I have a list of you guys that did see it coming.
So, I've been doing this, every year. Just like exhibition game. No. Look at the tendencies in the exhibition game. It's the same as the regular season. Did they get any better at this? Did they get any better? I don't care if they're playing rookies. I understand it. I'm talking about when the regulars in. And that's another thing. He hardly plays his regulars during the season. And then he wonders why when the first game comes, they're not ready.
They weren't ready to go.
Yeah, especially the last game of the season. Nobody plays.
That's
and doesn't play anything. Oh, that's good. So he sits around the whole time. Come on. This is just a disgrace.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get rid of coach, I heard you got to pay him $14 million.
Oh, is this out with the deal? Well, I don't think
buyout.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere anyway. But
well,
at least
with $14 million, Rooney will keep him there until he's retirement age.
Exactly, and they don't do it. And they, I just wish I knew when it was draft day. I need to be a fly on the wall. We need a little birdie in the room or a camera in there so we can actually see how it works, who makes the decisions, who has the most input, and when it comes to actually drafting the players. Because I think we talked about this last week. Is it the picking of them or is it the development? And a lot of times, those two things have to go hand in hand. We've shown that with the Pirates that for all these years that it didn't click, and then finally, you start looking and listening to the people that are actually making the right decisions.
Right.
And somebody's making wrong decisions.
To lead you that way, and it doesn't seem like that they do.
No.
I don't know. And then on that one kickoff return, they really kept in their lanes, didn't they? Oh my God, that was so bad.
Well, you know what was funny when they had the special teams coach that was here last, that they fired like right before the season started last year, whatever it was, the Al Everest guy, and they interviewed him in training camp, and they asked him about, well, of course most of this is about staying in your lanes. He goes, Oh no, he goes, we don't worry too much about that. He goes, we have different kinds of assignments that we do, but he goes, that staying in your lane stuff, that's old school. We don't deal with that. And I'm thinking to myself, it's foolproof. The reason that people stay in their lanes is because it works.
Yeah, it's been working for 100 years.
It's the same thing as playing the option, isn't it? I mean, when you're playing the option, the guys have to have their responsibility and not veer from their lane. It's why Terrell Pryor ran 93 yards for a touchdown, because guys didn't stay in their lanes. It was the same concept.
You know, on that, excuse me, go ahead.
No, it's like it drives me crazy that, you know, they were obviously taught this, and now they have a new special teams coach that is doing a better job, by the way, than the guy we had before. But, you know, these guys are taught one thing, and then you bring a new guy in, and he's going to teach them something else, and then the old habits come back in, and sometimes I don't think they know what to think.
You know, on that run that Pryor, I just caught it the other night when they showed it again for the 100th time.
Yeah.
The linebacker was...
it was Timmons.
Yeah. He started in for the running back, and if you watch that closely, he looks back at Pryor. All right, sort of slows down. Now, Pryor standing there with a loaf of bread in his hand, not a football.
That's right.
He continues to go after the running back.
Right.
What the heck was he looking? I mean, you wonder if his games are fixed sometimes.
It was him, and he's the one that nobody wanted to say it until finally some of the reporters at the end of the week got enough guys to piece it together as to what the responsibilities were on that play, and it was definitely Timmons' fault, and the safeties too. I mean, pull them all got blocked out.
Oh, please!
Let me ask, hey,
safeties
Tony?
are non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, and Gay. Oh my God, we had him. We got rid of him. That's what we do. You know, we take the garbage out, and then we have somebody pick it up and bring it back to us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, just like when they brought McFadden. They cut him before, you know, and then they brought him back. This is just a revolving door of garbage. You know?
Tony.
And it's forget about him. Oh, my God.
Tony.
It's going to be 20 years of this, maybe.
Tony.
You know. I
gonna be
can't
like
wait
the
till
Broncos.
spring training starts anyhow. You know, whether they do good or bad. And you haven't heard me say that in 20 years.
Tony, hold on.
It's pitiful. I just don't see anything there that looks professional. No. And then he's talking about a fine-tooth comb. And then other times he's talking about he's going to the lab and he's getting the test tubes. I think they should get rid of the comb, get rid of the lab, get rid of him, and put that money in getting some players. It's just a disgrace. I tell you, and the Rooney's sit there and watch it.
Yeah. Tony,
what are you going to do?
Can you do me a favor?
Yes, sir.
We're going to do a break. Hang on. We'll come back for your trivia.
Oh, well, it's, if you got other callers, I could.
No, we want you to stay there. We're going to do a commercial.
Stay putski.
Okay, I'll put these.
All right? All right, we'll be back in a moment. Tony will be back with us, too, when we return.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tatrn and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
And Christmas will be here before you know it, and I wanted to have an opportunity to talk about my book, Bob Tatrn, Sports Minutes. I'm getting Tony on the line. He's probably saying, Bob, you can talk about the book another day. But anyway, you can pick it up at the Hot Dog Guys, Stewart Plaza, Lower Borough, Blackburn's in Tarentum on Corbett Street, Costello Printing, located on 5th Avenue in Tatrn, and Myrna's Brewery Outlet, Caldwell Street in New Kensington. It's 1995, and Christmas is coming. Keep it in mind.
It is indeed.
Let me go back to Tony, if we can. Tony?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me tell you about his book. I received one, and it's really good book, but he didn't autograph it. What do you think about that? George, I got one of George's. He autographed it, said had nice things in there to say and everything about
Tony,
it.
we'll take care of it.
Okay.
Tony, you need
Go
to
ahead.
come up. You need to come up here before Christmas and sit in the audience with us, and then bring the book, and then Bob will sign it.
Well, you know what? I was waiting for the first snow to come up with my sleigh and my tiny reindeer. That's
Oh.
Deliver the goodies.
It probably won't be too long.
Yeah.
All right, what are you going to go for? The
Salam.
You're going to go for the Salamo.
Oh, that's my favorite. I got to get ahead of A-Fraud.
A-Fraud.
Yeah, I'm ahead of him now, but I got to get more.
All right, Michael.
Couple more. All right, let me have. Let me see. Number one. What the heck?
Okay, Tone. Here we go. This is. It is baseball. Here we go. What former major league manager hit into a record 4 double plays in one game?
A major league manager hit into 4 double plays in one.
A former major league manager, when he was playing, hit into 4 double plays in one game.
No wonder he was a manager. Geez. Danny Murtaugh?
That is not correct.
Okay.
The answer is Joe Torre. And if you
Joe Torre.
if you picture Joe Torre playing
in one game.
In one game. But if you picture Joe Torre playing, you could see it happening.
That's hard to believe, you know. Yeah.
He could hit, but he was a slow guy.
yeah. He was a little,
He could hit.
naturally.
So Tony,
Murtaugh wasn't no speedster either, right?
Are you going to the game Saturday night?
No, are
You're
you
not
kidding?
going.
I'll sit right here. I got boxed seats.
You do.
I got, I have my remote in case it goes bad. I'll go to the Food Channel, or I'll go to the Alabama LSU game, or I'll go to bed. One of the three.
I'll tell you what.
So.
We got 2 good games Thursday night finally. College games, and then we have the LSU Alabama, and then you can flip over to Pitt Notre Dame Saturday night.
Well, you know what I heard that that's on CBS.
Yeah, the LSU game's on CBS with Vern. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I
then,
heard they put that on to override the LSU Alabama game.
Maybe they would. Well, we know that in certain places that Notre Dame fans will put the ratings over the top for that game, even though Pitt's sorry.
Yep. Hey, are you going?
No, I am not going. I will be watching this one on television, but
I'll
be there when I'll be there when the Tar Heels of North Carolina come to Heinz Field in a couple weeks. I think I'll go to that game.
Okay, that's not bad.
All right, Tony.
Hey, guys, have a wonderful
Thanks,
week.
Tony.
We'll see you.
All right, I'll talk to you.
All right, that's going to wrap it up.
Wrap up the deal here, huh?
Tony and Ken and Paul, thank you so much.
Yes. We didn't give anything away, did we?
Well, we gave away the donuts.
We're going to give donuts to Ken,
You know what? We're going to give Paul some donuts, too.
Okay. I'm for that.
In fact, we'll give Tony some donuts.
Ken could lure the deer with the donuts.
It's either donuts. I'll tell you what, I've got some $5 lunch coupons for the hot dog guys. What do you want, Ken? You want the donuts? Or do you... Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. He's easy to get along with. Easy to get along with.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up. It's been great being with you, and we will return next week at the same time.
Yes.
And when the next show is on, I'll be out for the night. Book promotion, as a matter of fact. Couldn't turn this one down.
Couldn't turn this one down. Too much money to be made. This is when you know the only time you purposely don't show up at Sportsline is when there's more money to be made outside. So I get it now. Bob's going to have, where are you going to be?
Clarion Hotel.
Okay. But don't go see him because
I
need you here.
I hope they have enough parking.
Okay. I think they will.
Anyway, folks, that wraps it up. Thanks for watching. I'm Bob Tatrn.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.